what are some of the mistakes that people make when they are filing for bankruptcy?
Well, the biggest mistakes I see are, I think people try to outsmart the system, or think that they know more than they do. And it's always good to get an opinion from a lawyer before you start to take measures and make moves. A big mistake I see people doing are moving assets out of their name before filing, or transferring things to someone else, giving things away, selling off assets. Uh, that can really put that can really hamper a Chapter 7 case. It can really actually create more problems than what we're able to solve. Another big mistake I see people doing all the time is a lot of people try to file Chapter 7 on their own. They'll file a bankruptcy without representation of counsel. And at the surface, that may look easy to do. Essentially you're filling out forms, disclosure forms. Now, there's a lot of them, but you're just filling out forms and answering questions. But the problem that I see is that without knowing the consequences of filing, you can really put yourself in a hole by doing that. So much of what an attorney does goes beyond just the filing of paperwork and the appearance at court. So much of what we do is looking at the scenario and advising the person, hey, if we do this, then that'll happen. So why don't we try this instead? That's something that you don't get when you're just filling out a form and sending it off. So that's a real big mistake I see people do all the time. I also see people who will take on a lot of debt right before filing, or borrow money from the wrong types of creditors within sometimes months, weeks, even days of filing, that can create a problem with filing bankruptcy. So the moral of the story is really you should always get advice of an attorney. Talk to someone who's experienced in bankruptcy cases, and get the information from them before you act on your own.
That's all very good advice. I'd love to mention too about what you said about using an attorney versus doing it yourself. I mean, the difference really is you're sitting there taking a lot of time filling out forms that you've never filled out before, most likely, and looking for information that you're not really sure you have the right information. And so when you have an attorney, what happens for you then is you've got somebody that is in court every single day dealing with these issues. And I know that the people in your firm are fantastic. I mean, they not only is it a situation where no one is going to look down on you or judge you, but you really are there to help and help them find the best option. So I mean, some people might be surprised to realize that this conversation we're having right now is very common. And like every single day, several times a day, you are just sitting down with people, listening to the issues, and putting the pegs in the right holes and finding the right solution, or at least a few options for them, and explaining what the consequences are to certain actions. And so you don't get that if you are not an attorney and you've never filed for bankruptcy before. And even if you have and you are an attorney, a lot of times you have someone else handle it because they are the ones that are the experts in that area.